Little did I know, as I walked down this trail with Deb 48 years ago, that I would be cruising Still the One, my Sundancer 380, down the Tennessee River, south on the Tombigbee known as the Tin Tom, and southeast across the Gulf of Mexico to Tampa Bay. My desire is to document this trip, to share with my family, because they are still the one to me. And if you'd like to come along on my journey as well, I hope you will enjoy. So y'all took to just see Jerry and
Judy.
Jerry and Judy.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all are from
Charleston,
South Carolina.
Yep.
actually John's Island.
Is that where y'all spent most of your life?
All of our married life,
Yeah.
we grew up together in Greenville.
So when did y'all start cruising?
We left in 2020. Only to turn around and come back.
In 2020 is when you started? How about before that? Were you boating before that?
Oh yeah, we've always boated.
In this green, or when you moved to
There's somebody else here, Charleston.
Charleston? Yeah.
We had no money. I was in college.
Yeah.
But the one thing he bought was the little boat,
Yeah.
$500 plastic boat.
The Sears Kingfisher. That's all I could afford.
Yeah, so that's the way we started. That's the way I started.
When the first hurricane came, he took the boat and he turned it sideways and brought it in the front door of our apartment.
I didn't want to blow
Turned it
away.
right side up, and put his TV in there. That was the only thing he cared about saying. Was the boat and his TV.
Hey, good.
Because all I ever heard about was the surge in the water.
Yeah,
Well, I figured when the apartment fills up with water, a boat will float and the same with TV.
absolutely.
I didn't have much back then.
Yeah. That's cool as all get out. When did you buy your first big boat?
Right after Hugo hit in Charleston,
Mm-hmm.
we bought our first cruiser. So we had it for a while. It was a Bayliner. It was a piece of garbage. But it was fun.
Unfortunately, that's what Bayliner's reputation has been. They're not the greatest boats in the world.
Awesome. Let's go. Let's go meet up with him.
A lot of loopers
Use them?
use those big Bayliners, those 43, the 40, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
They really like them. And they have a lot of room in them.
Yeah.
Right to the beach.
So-
So it is.
But the boat we have now, we bought it about 4 years ago.
So we're still getting homeschooled now.
But yeah, we started in 20, started the loop, and then COVID hit. We got to Norfolk, Virginia, started hearing about COVID. So we stopped and tried to figure out what was going on.
Where did you go when you had to stop?
We were,
Huh?
We just kind of did a loop around Norfolk, Coin Jock, up to the Dismal Swamp. There's a little circle that you can make, so we did that.
So you stayed on the boat?
Yeah. We kept going back to Coin Jocks because they had farm red there and really good desserts.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we realized it wasn't going to get any better, and
Right.
went back home for a couple of months and decided that we couldn't just stay there because there were boats right on the beach. And it was hurricane season, so we left and went back to the Chesapeake and just hung out on the Chesapeake for the summer.
When did you start seeing things kind of go back to normal from the COVID, and how long did it take in your world?
Within the loopers, it seems like it's just back to normal
Pretty quickly, huh?
because we're pretty isolated.
Yeah. So how did you loop without going into Canada? How's that work?
Through the Erie Canal.
The Erie Canal. and that keeps you out of Canada, keeps you in the U.S. So there's a way to loop without going into Canada, and there's a way to loop to go into Canada.
But you also have real tall boats that have a lot of windage. Could not do the western area because of some bridges. They had to be able to get under a bridge that was, I think it was 15.7, does that sound right? 15 feet, 7 inches. If not, they had to pay a Canadian captain to go take their boat into Canada and back into the U.S. by going around the bridges. And they were gouging them pretty hard.
I bet.
So, but luckily we were able to get under the bridges because I could drop my radar collar and it just folded down. And my bimini barely got under. The water was low, so I was able to squeeze under the bridge by about that much.
Wow. I bet that was a nervous experience.
She drove up to the bridge and I stood on the back looking over the bimini, and she eased up to it. And I had the bimini ready to drop if I had to. But yeah, we barely made it under.
Have y'all been dreaming about doing this for a long time, or when did you?
No, really.
What was your
Everybody got everything they need?
I think so. Yeah.
All right.
We're good.
your light turned on moment?
Well, we graduated up to a Sea Ray.
Yeah.
27-foot Sea Ray.
Yep.
We were in a boat club, and that's how we heard about the Great Loop.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought that was just a wonderful thing to do. So I
Right.
started reading about it. And it was really me that wanted to do it. And he even took the classes for the
Reluctant spouse.
the reluctant spouse. They had a class for reluctant spouses. He was the guy in there and all the other ones.
Okay. That's interesting. Very interesting.
You know, just such a long trip. 6,000 miles.
Right.
Another reason I did it again was to go into Canada,
Yeah.
which was okay.
So what is your favorite thing about the trip? What's something that you really look forward to each time you get to town, or certain towns you're looking forward to?
Well, I like marinas more than she does. She would rather anchor out, but
Really? What would you say is the best experience you've ever had on any of the loops at this point?
the thing we like the most, I guess.
Yeah.
you asked me?
Yeah.
Last year, I liked the Erie Canal a lot, the Western Erie. That was the reason I liked it so much was all the little towns. You didn't have to worry about weather. And you didn't have to worry about where you were going to stay
Right.
that night. I mean, you had to look ahead, but you didn't have to. It was pretty easy.
Yeah.
And it was like 400 miles of that, 450, something like that. So, yeah, it was just a lot simpler. And the Eastern Canal was too, but the Western, it was just better towns, better places to go.
What time of year did you go through there?
Summer.
December?
Summer.
Oh, summer.
I love it.
Yeah. Time to come.
I spent 16 years in Ohio, in the Cleveland, Ohio area, me and my wife. And we would go up to Lake Erie with a boat and try to fish, or I would. And I mean, I knew nothing about water, waves, anything. I'd get up there and it'd be about an hour and a half drive. And I'd get up there with my boat and I'd go out into the water. 10 minutes, I'd turn around and come back because it was so rough. They say it's so shallow that it just really gets affected by any wind at all.
But they say it's shallow, but a lot of it was 100 feet deep.
Yeah,
Where I'm from,
that's deep.
If you've got 15 feet under you,
Mm-hmm.
that's good water.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 20 feet in the middle of the rivers, but but that's not much more than that.
Have you ever considered doing any islands in the Caribbean, like over in,
We don't have the boat for that.
you can't do that in your boat? Why not? Because I'm sure that people would like to know what your opinion is on that.
People have done it in the those main ships, but they're just not blue water boats. And on certain days, you know, you could do it. They're a real, I guess you could say, they got a lot of windage. They're top heavy. They rock a lot.
And what's your boat?
Size of it,
No, what is it? I mean, describe the name.
it's a 400 main ship.
400 main ship?
Yeah, 40 feet long.
Uh-huh.
About, I don't know, what is it, 14 two wide, something like that, beam on it. Yeah. But they're real, main ships, they've been building them for a long time. And, my boat, which was an '08, it was probably one of the last ones built. Main ship went out of business in '08, recession got it.
You had talked about before that's the scariest time you've had. Tell me that story again, if you don't mind.
I guess the worst time, scariest, was Lake Michigan, wasn't it? Yeah.
Lake Michigan?
Yeah, we got in, left that morning. It's predicted like 1-2 foot seas. And we've been traveling for, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours. And the waves started building. Before we knew it, I don't know what we were in, 6 foot, 7 foot. They were huge waves. And that's what I mean about the main ship. It's just, it just can't take those kind of waves. It started listing a lot. It was pretty scary. We were in it for about an hour before we were able to
Is he out there right now?
divert from our original course into another place. We got, you know, we were glad to get in.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was.
Now we're talking about trying to go across the Gulf, and you know, we're talking about weather and everything, and things aren't looking really good. Have y'all come to a decision yet on when you think about leaving?
Yeah, exactly.
Are you still waiting to hear?
It's a day-to-day basis. I just don't want to go out there, and you know, the boat would probably take it, no problem. But it's just, you know, if we can take it.
And our dog gets seasick.
Yeah.
Your dog gets seasick. That's not good.
Yes.
Yeah, she doesn't like it at all. And the day we got in on the lake, you know, bad weather, which, you know, what I would like to have done is gotten downstairs to the lower end, but it got so rough so fast, you just couldn't do it.
Did you ever get to the point where you thought that we're not going to make it?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
it's all crossed my mind,
you
but
guys know.
I knew it wasn't that far from shore. If I had to, I would run the boat in the shore, you know.
Yeah.
Just take my chances, you know. Of course, it would have probably been destroyed in the shore, you know, but at least maybe we could have gotten off the boat.
Right. What are the safety things that you have on your boat in case?
Of course, those life jackets. We have, you know, the ones you wear that blow up when you hit the water. We have all the EPIRB stuff. We have a whole survival bag. So it has water in it, EPIRBs, flares.
And what is an EPIRB?
An EPIRB is a device that goes off when it gets wet, and it starts pinging. It calls the Coast Guard,
Okay.
and it'll ping for a long time, for days. But when it starts pinging, they will respond. And you know, it goes to satellite, so no matter where you are, they can pick it up,
Right.
and they will. And they're supposed to. I always heard they will show up.
Oh yeah. Well, when I was in at Boardwalk in Dustin. Deb and I stayed a night there at the Boardwalk Marina, right there in Destin, Florida.
Yep.
And we're sitting there, and Coast Guard come walk up, and I'm going, "Hey, how y'all doing?" and stuff, and fine. I said, "What's going on?" I said, "Well, we got a boat that they're bringing in. They rescued out at sea, and they lost their steering, and they were in 6 and 8 foot waves, and couldn't steer in a big sailboat. And so they had it tied to the Coast Guard boat, and the Coast Guard would go, instead of pulling it, they had it tied to the side,
Yeah.
and they were driving it back in and brought it in and put it up to the dock there. And
That's unusual for the Coast Guard to do that. Normally they rescue whoever's on the boat if they need rescuing.
Right.
They at least pay.
they brought the whole boat. Yeah.
That's unusual. They didn't do that anymore. Because normally they will call Seato or Boat US, somebody to go out and get the boat.
Have you ever had to call for help, be towed or anything?
Yeah, sure did.
Really?
Yeah.
What happened when you had to get towed?
I think I told you the other night, my Sea Ray.
Oh, you blew up your engine.
I blew up my engine, yeah.
That's not a laughing matter. I guess you can laugh about it now, but it wasn't then.
Yeah, 2-day tow all the way from Beaufort, South Carolina.
2-day tow.
So they contacted us as we got about halfway and said, well, we're not gonna be able to make it before dark to your marina, but there's a marina down here we can just put you on. And I said, well, our favorite anchorage is right around the corner. Can you just dump us out there?
Yeah.
They said, so you want to anchor? I said, yeah. We'll just go anchor. But they did.
You were in the boat,
Yeah.
and they pulled you to an anchoring spot. Then what'd you do after that?
We anchored, we had dinner and spent the night, and they came back and picked us up the next morning and took us.
Oh, because they didn't want to pull it at night.
They didn't want to pull into the marina at night.
Okay.
Because like I said, our marina is right on the beach. And
Okay. Anyway, thanks a lot for taking some time, sharing your
That was
stories.
fun.
Yeah,
Thanks for dinner. It was great.
Yeah.
my pleasure.